In October 1975, the global spotlight locked onto Quezon City in the Philippines. President Ferdinand Marcos had aggressively sponsored a heavyweight championship bout, desperate to showcase his regime to the world. They held the fight inside the Araneta Coliseum. The building had an aluminum roof that trapped the intense tropical humidity, cooking the air inside to a suffocating 120 degrees. An estimated 1 billion people tuned in to watch. HBO utilized a pioneering continuous satellite feed, turning this single sporting event into a massive, simultaneous global broadcast. They were tuning in to watch Muhammad Ali defend his undisputed heavyweight title against his bitter rival, the former champion Joe Frazier. Ali had spent years leveling vicious verbal abuse at his opponent. In the lead-up to this fight, he constantly mocked Frazier, famously rhyming that it would be a Thrilla and a chilla when I get that gorilla in Manila. Ali's explicit strategy was to goad Frazier into a blind, reckless rage. Between the oppressive heat, the geopolitical stakes, and the deep personal hatred, the ring became an environment designed to push the human body past its absolute limits. Ali was 33 years old when he stepped into that sweltering arena. He no longer had the lightning-fast, untouchable reflexes of the 22-year-old kid who had dismantled Sonny Liston a decade earlier. He had forfeited his peak athletic years because of an uncompromising moral and religious refusal to enter the draft for the Vietnam War. The government retaliated aggressively. They stripped Ali of his heavyweight titles and handed him a total ban from professional boxing that lasted 3 years. By the time he reached the Philippines, his effortless speed was a memory. To survive Frazier, Ali would have to rely on the exact same stubborn willpower he used to defy the United States government. Ali started the fight sharply. He bobbed, weaved, and constantly talked to Frazier during the opening rounds, actively trying to unnerve his opponent with relentless psychological pressure. Ali successfully negotiated for an expanded 21-foot square canvas, securing space to use his longer legs and circle away from danger. He also insisted on smaller, 8-ounce gloves. With less padding, Ali could throw faster and inflict more skull-rattling damage. Frazier's trainer, Eddie Futch, formulated a brutal counter-strategy. He ordered Frazier to ignore Ali's head entirely and relentlessly hammer his liver and kidneys, deliberately attacking the organs to drain the champion's stamina. Ali attempted to use his famous rope-a-dope tactic, resting against the turnbuckles while Frazier expended energy. Frazier simply used the opportunity to step inside and violently batter Ali's trapped torso. By the middle rounds, both master plans had failed to produce a knockout. The fighters were now locked in a grueling physical stalemate. In round 6, Frazier's timing locked in. He landed thunderous left hooks that visibly stiffened Ali's entire body, sending murmurs of shock through the sweltering crowd. The shockwaves of a heavyweight hook carry enough force to instantly disable the brain. Ali absorbed these devastating impacts entirely through sheer refusal to fall. At the end of round 9, a completely exhausted Ali stumbled back to his corner stool and told his trainer, "Man, this is the closest I've ever been to dying." Entering round 13, their bodies began failing catastrophically. Ali was severely dehydrated from the staggering heat. Frazier had absorbed hundreds of precise jabs, causing his face to swell so severely he was virtually blind, swinging heavily at shadows. Scraping together the last remnants of his energy in round 14, Ali unleashed a savage, uninterrupted string of right hands. The impacts were so violent they knocked the gum shield completely out of Frazier's mouth. The boundaries of the sport had dissolved. Two men were systematically dismantling each other in an agonizing display of sanctioned manslaughter. Before the bell rang for the 15th round, Eddie Futch made his decision. He looked at his half-blind fighter and said, "It's all over. No one will forget what you did here today." Futch stopped to save Frazier's life. Futch had no idea that across the ring, Ali was simultaneously begging his own cornermen to cut his gloves off. The champion had reached his absolute limit and was actively trying to quit. Upon being declared the winner, Ali immediately collapsed to the canvas. The brutal exertion in the tropical heat had stripped 5 pounds of water weight directly from his body. The Thrilla in Manila cemented Ali's status in history. He defeated Joe Frazier through a harrowing, agonizing capacity to endure pain. Muhammad Ali earned the title of the greatest through an impossible willingness to suffer for his pride and his convictions. He possessed a terrifying refusal to submit, whether he was standing alone against the United States government or surviving a 120-degree furnace in the Philippines.